All right. Hello, everybody. Hey, y'all.
Hello.
We told y'all we were coming now. I hope y'all are coming too now. So grab your girlfriends, grab your book. Boom. Girl hurt no more. Healing
Got
waters.
it.
Leah got hers.
We
Grab your
ready.
book, grab your girlfriend, come on in the room. And remember, we don't keep this stuff to ourselves. Okay, we hit the like and share button and we send it out to somebody else. So go text your girlfriends. They knew we were doing this. You shared it on your page. So ain't no excuses. They need to go ahead and come on in the room. We want you to come on in and join us. We're going to have a dynamic girl talk, book talk today. I am here, Pastor B, and I'm not by myself. I've got Leah with me.
Hey y'all. Hey,
May not know who you are. People may not know who you are. Leah, please tell them who you are.
hey.
Who are you, Leah?
I am a teacher. I teach fourth grade reading and writing. I'm also a graduate student. So I'm a teacher and a student at the same time. That's very uncomfortable. It's difficult. It's different. And I'm just a young woman in my becoming era. I'm becoming.
Leah, what are you becoming? What does that mean?
I am becoming the woman who God created me to be. So I
I
am
love it.
trying to have my steps ordered so I can fulfill my purpose and walk into
I
my
love
calling.
that. I love that, Leah. And Leah, and you'll find out more about Leah without me saying her name later on in the book. That's why you got to buy the book. Healing Waters, get the book. But Leah is my now daughter. Okay, yes, and she's grown, y'all. Don't say why she got this teenager on this show. Leah is a grown woman now.
Good
Leah
and
is grown,
grown.
good and grown, but she's also my daughter. Okay, Leah told me you're gonna be my madre, and I was like, oh God, like I can't be a sister. I get then once I started realizing, no, she really sees me in that light, and I felt so honored. And so Leah is my new daughter. Okay. And so I
Yes.
appreciate you, Leah, for being my moderator tonight. Listen, y'all, we've got two ladies in our waiting room that are waiting to bless us. They are very, very important to me, very, very special to me. And you're going to meet them in a second. But I do need to give everybody an announcement. I told y'all I was going to make an announcement tonight and that you needed to tune in reference to our women's conference. Our women's conference is March 21st through the 23rd. Now, there has been a venue change. Okay. Please note a venue change. It will now be held in Fort Meade, Florida. It is no longer in Lakeland, Florida at the Hilton Garden Inn. So don't go up to the People Hotel saying, I thought it was here. We're telling you now, it is at the Peaceful Believers Church. The address is here, 510 South Charleston Avenue, Fort Meade, Florida. That is where we will be having our women's conference. It's still going to be powerful, but that is where we are having it. We've got a jam-packed schedule starting on the 21st, which is a Thursday night at 6 p.m. Women will be able to come in, get their registration packets. And we got a nice sisterhood fellowship plan for you. It's going to be amazing. Then we start workshop sessions the next morning, Friday morning. So go ahead and put your time in. Tell them people you can't come because you about to get filled. You can't come. All right. You're going to take Friday and Saturday off, and you're going to come to the workshop sessions, and we're going to feed you after. Then we got a dynamic worship service Friday night. You're even going to meet our worship leader tonight. We got a dynamic worship service, and the word of God will be ministered to you on Friday night. Then Saturday, we start back up with our workshops again. And I'm telling you, we got 4 dynamic speakers that are going to bless your whole life. Then Saturday night, we're going to conclude the conference with an all-white healing gala. Oh, Lord, y'all, come on. All-white healing gala. That will be also in Fort Meade, but there's a different venue for that. So that location is right there on your screen. So you do not want to miss it, y'all. We want to see you in the place. All right. So don't say she didn't tell us. I'm telling you now, we're ready, set, go. Okay. That's the change. It will be in Fort Meade, Florida. Still, you can register through Eventbrite. If you are local, we can have paper copies to you. Hit me up. I'll find a way to help you be registered. We got you. All right, now for tonight, y'all, let's get into our girl talk, book talk. We have two lovely ladies with us to share our platform today, Leah. We have Tashayla Gomillion and we have Ashley Folse as our guest today. And today, for our first episode, remember, we are going through the book Healing Waters, Girl Hurt No More, Healing Waters. We are looking at the intro and chapter 1, and we're talking about faith and stagnation. Faith and stagnation. So we are going to bring these two ladies into the studio. Okay, y'all show some love. Also, we got a whole comment section. Jump in the comment section, y'all. Put your comments in there. Put your questions. We will read your questions on here and we'll allow our guests a chance to answer. Okay, so we want you to interact with us. Now, please welcome Tashayla Gomillion and Ashley Folse. Yay! How y'all doing, ladies?
Good. How are you?
Doing good.
How are you?
Doing good. Lee, I'm throwing it in your court.
All right, so let's jump right in. We have Miss Ashley Folse. Ashley, would you like to introduce yourselves to the people?
I will. My name is Ashley Folse. I am from the great city of Fort Meade, Florida, born and raised. They laughing because we just had a conversation about our city. Okay, it's a city. Thank you.
It's a city.
It's a big one. It's a big one.
Don't play with it.
As big as one stoplight.
Hey.
I wouldn't say big, but we're good. We're here. We're in it.
We're here.
Yes.
Greatness is coming from this city.
Yes.
It's big enough.
It is.
And it's got big love in it. Big love.
So I am a PK. I am the daughter of Pastor C and Lady C at PBC, the church, the friendly church beside the road, whoop, whoop. And there I lead worship. I'm a part of the worship team and I lead worship there. And I will be leading worship at the Girl Hurt No More Conference. I'm so excited about that. And what we will be led to do there, I am a mother of two amazing kids. I have a 14-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old son. They are both bombshells in their own right. Save the judgment of my little one, like y'all like to do, because my boy be boying. You hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm cool with it.
Okay. And I am a wife to the one and only. Hello, somebody say only.
Only girl.
Yes, Brandon Folse. So that is me in a nutshell.
All right.
Thank you, Miss Gomillion.
Hi, I'm Tashayla Gomillion. I go by T Gomillion. I am a jack of all trades, I guess you can say. I'm an entrepreneur. You can follow my business page at Shop Gomillion, where we sell shirts about ministry in regards to the Bible and illustrations about that. I am an advocate for those who don't feel like they have a voice or haven't been seen or heard. I like to bring them to the light to let them know that they are seen and heard. I am a daughter of the Most High, but I'm also a daughter of my parents. I have 6 siblings, and I have a podcast called the Authentic Exchange Podcast, where we unravel, reveal, and heal from life's traumas, pains, and experiences. And that's me. So,
Tashayla, tell them how you know me.
I know Miss Berrien from 9th grade. And she was very hard on me. She was very hard, extremely hard, to where we didn't really like each other at first. I didn't like her. She loved me, but I didn't like her in my 9th grade.
Yeah,
years.
I was kind of hard then.
Yeah, and so I met her in class. I was struggling in reading, actually, and now I'm writing books. But I struggled in reading and writing, and she really brought the best me out of me. And so it was a challenge.
I didn't pay her, y'all. I didn't pay her. Thank you.
No, you didn't pay me. But no, she brought the best me out of me. I didn't know it lived inside of me. I used to hate writing. I used to always feel like it wasn't my passion. But when iron really sharpens iron, it can bring out some great things out of you. So shout out to Miss B. I always will
You're
love
so
her. And
sweet.
she's my mentor too from Ladies First. So all together.
Yay. Yay. So we go way back. I love it. I love it. And it's full circle now. I'm so proud of you. Ashley, thank you so much for joining us. And when we got Leah, Leah's my side. So she right here. We're going to jump into it. So we got people in the chat. Hey, y'all. Thank y'all for joining us. Go tell your other friends. We live. We ready to go. Ladies, we're going to start this conversation off if that's okay with y'all. Because y'all got y'all books. Okay. Y'all are on board. And let me just say this. People that are on your team, they should support you. Okay. They should support you. If you're doing something and your people ain't supporting you or kudos or sharing your stuff or liking your stuff, you got to check your circle now. Okay. Yeah. So I appreciate you all tremendously for the support. Okay. Yeah. So I want to go ahead and jump into the first question. All right,
let's jump right in. I thought it was gonna be like an easy, smooth kind of jump in, but it's Pastor B, so you know the question gonna already get your wheels turning. So my first question, or the first question is, what's the difference between being still and being stuck? What's the difference?
Okay, so that's a lot to unpack if you ask me. Being still, a lot of times, I'm just going to use my kids as an example. That's like asking Braden to sit down for more than 1 second. It is almost impossible for some people when you don't have the right tools to be able to do it, right? Like he doesn't have the capacity to understand what it means to really sit still, right? And being stuck, I feel like it is some things that it can happen just in life, and like just walking through life where you going through and you just stop in the middle of doing what you're supposed to be doing, right? Or what he's called you to do. A lot of times we just stop, and that causes us to get stuck in the mix of everything that's happening around us. So to me, being still just means to sit. Sometimes we literally have to sit, just to sit and take in whatever it is that's happening, or take in whatever it is that he's trying to get us to. Being stuck, you just get stuck. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. You just get stuck. You know, you can get stuck in your mess. You can get stuck in whatever it is, in all things, just stuck.
So I feel like when you still, it's kind of like you don't have any hope to keep going. But when you stuck, you're trying to find ways to get out and to keep going. So still is like, man, I just give up. Stuck is like, okay, Lord, I'm here. I know I got to keep going. How do I keep going?
I disagree a little bit. I feel like being still is in obedience.
Wow. Yeah.
Stillness doesn't have any sticky residue to keep you from going forward. Being stuck does.
Absolutely.
So when you're still, you're waiting on the Lord. You're waiting for movement. You're saying, okay, God, I will let go of my heart's desire, and I'll sit here and I'll rest in your presence until you tell me to keep going. Being stuck means I'm in disobedience and it's sticky. I don't know how to get out of this. I don't know. Every time I try to go forward, it's pulling me back. It's sticky. So being stuck to me is more so showing a sign of disobedience. And how can I get out of it? How can I get out of this mess? Being still means I'm choosing to let life pass me by. When it looks I can gravitate to this, I can go over here. But I'm standing still in the middle of chaos saying, Lord, I trust you. I'm here.
Is that it cannot be attested to, you said obedience. Is that why it's so hard for us to sit still?
Yeah.
It's because we don't like to obey. Obedience is so hard. It's something that we're called to daily, right? And it's a hard thing to do. So when we're having to be still, and we have to obey in that still moment, right? That's the only way for you to move, is for you to obey and what he's telling you to do. And I think a lot, that was so good. And then like you said, something that's sticky to you, something that is messy, right? It's messy. It's something you always is messy.
It's that she said that residue. That's what I'm liking. That that thing that I thought I had gotten out of that situation, but I still got, you know, like you go, you talk about Bray, your 1-year-old. If he's had his hands on some candy or something, and you go and sit down and his lollipop is sticking, you cute in your dress and you think you all this, and then somebody's like, you got a lollipop stuck in your butt, and you're like,
stuck.
oh,
right,
it's stuck, right? And you thought you got past that. You thought you didn't look like your situation, but all of a sudden you do.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. There is a difference between being still and stuck. Mm-hmm. Oh, so this book is about flowing.
Yeah.
Right. But the Bible tells us, be still and know that I am God. So I love that. We got to be obedient. Be still. Many of us just keep moving too much. You just sit down somewhere. That's what the old women used to say. Just sit down somewhere. You're just busy. God is saying, be still. Don't make an action. Don't make a decision. Be still and know that I am God. Yes. That's good. I like that, ladies. All right. Look, here's a question. Here go a question I gotta ask you. When was y'all first time? Okay. Your first encounter with Christ. See, because people already like, ooh, this getting good. They don't talk about their first time. I don't know what first time y'all talk about, but what we gonna talk about is your first encounter with Christ. Do you remember your first encounter with Christ?
Are we talking about a real encounter or what?
Your real, because we grew up, Ashley, we PKs, right?
That's why I said let's talk about it.
Your experience.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. I will say that my real first encounter with God was me getting pregnant at the whopping age of 21, and just being scared, right? I was flat scared, unmarried, didn't know what to do, how to do it, how to walk through it. And let me tell you, this was not something that my parents could have walked me through, could have took away from me. They couldn't cover me through it. It's here, literally. I'm here, right? And so that's one of the times where I knew of him, right? And I knew that he had carried me through. We just talked about this today. Well, Pastor C just talked about this, our crazy time, right? And in college, I lived through my crazy time. Let's be real. I had the best time of my life.
I don't even know who I was in college.
Right.
So
in college, right? Okay. And that crazy time. And I had, I'm a PK. So of course I encountered church. I encountered the godly things, but I had never encountered him until I had to, on my face, like, Lord, I done messed up. I done messed up big time. This the biggest mess up that could have ever happened. So now it's just me and you. Like, Pastor C can't do nothing with this. Person can't do nothing with this. It's me and you. And so that was truly my first encounter 14 years ago, honestly. Wow. And I've been in church, can we just say this, from the day I came out. Like, it ain't no missing it. I ain't never, like, from day one, and my daddy talked about this too, they raised us right. They trained us up in the way that we should go. We departed on our own. Hello, good day.
We all have.
We departed on our own, and here
some
we
of us just didn't get caught.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the prodigal son came back, so you came back.
Yes,
came on
that's what matters.
Yes. So that was my first encounter.
Ooh. Tashayla?
Mine was a little different. So I didn't grow up in church. And I say that a little bit lightly because I'm sure my grandmother is watching. So my parents, they were divorced at a young age. So when I was with my mother's mom, my nana, I went to church, and I walked up to the, altar and said, yes, I'll give my life to Jesus. And I became an usher and, all those things. But my real encounter, I want to say, was 2016 when my mom was on her deathbed, and I cry out in the hospital room when she was in ICU for Christ. And it was just me and her in that room at that moment. No one was there, but I had to, God, I remember it like yesterday. He had to come and tell me, you have to forgive for you to be forgiven, for this to be forgiven. And so we were not, we were in our toughest times, but she couldn't speak. Like she was on a machine that was operating for her. And so the doctors had told us, she's a vegetable, might as well pull the plug, all the things that will take your faith away. And so it was me asking God, like straight out of college too, I need to see you, and I need to see who you say you are in this situation. You know what I'm saying? And so I pulled on his word. I knew it was always there, but I started calling on his promises and his word. And I kept telling him the check can't come back void. It has to come out. And so even when they did, quote unquote, pull the plug, to see my mama's heart rate go from a machine to beating on her own, and now she's walking, driving.
Jesus.
And she'll be probably commenting in here soon.
Yes, mama. Come on in
I
this
actually
yes.
Encounter Christ.
Wow.
On my
The
own.
check can't come back to you void.
It
Can't
bounce.
Come on, it can't bounce. His word is not going to come back. Like
it's all deposits, no withdrawals. It's all deposits.
Wow.
I love that. Leah, when was your first time, girl?
Mine is not as deep as everybody else's.
Okay.
Mine happened in 2020 when he shut the world down and everything was still like them. My college days, I had a good time. I had fun. Okay. And so as I got out of college, I started teaching, and I was still kind of doing the same thing. And something hit me like, man, I know I can't keep living this same lifestyle. It's more. I'm not your average person. So in 2020, when he shut the world down, I was exercising, and my brother was like, hey, listen to this message about Miles Monroe. I have no idea who Miles Monroe is. So, but after I listened to the Miles Monroe video, there was a message about Sarah, and it kind of changed my whole life. And afterwards, I started seeing visions and images of who I could become if I let God order my steps, if I really truly surrender and let him start cutting back and doing what he needs to be doing. So it's ever since 2020, in April of 2020, I've been trying to grow in my relationship with Christ and follow his voice. I'm learning how to discern his voice right now, how he speaks to me. And lately, when he speaks to me, he'll always have somebody close to me confirm it without me having to say oh, I think the Lord said this to me, or I think he did this. But he's giving me reassurance, letting me know hey, yo, I really am talking to you. You really have grown. Now it's just not wanting to go backwards, because sometimes it's hard. It's hard being obedient.
Be for real.
It's hard being young and trying to follow Christ and really wanting to do it the right way and not mess up. So
it is.
Since he stopped the world and shut the world down, I was able to reevaluate, consider how I want to live my life. What do I want from it? Do I always want to stay the same? And no, I want to grow and become. So I'm becoming.
I love
I'm
that.
learning.
Yes. I love that.
What about you?
So with Ashley, I'm a preacher's kid, right? And so people would assume that you've been saved all your life. So I was saved at an early age. My parents were in one denomination church, and I was drawn to a little small missionary Baptist church. And I asked them, and I had to be in third grade or something like that, second grade, can I start going to church over here? It was something appealing. So they were like, okay. So I would get on the bus and go over to that church, and I got baptized there, and I started understanding, the word more. But it wasn't until my I had just graduated college and started working my first year as a teacher. So I had to be about 21 years old. And I was at one of my lowest points. So I remember I was in my townhouse. I had 2 roommates, and neither one was home at the time. And I felt at that moment that nobody, my friends were gone, boyfriend had cheated. So I'm just looking real crazy right now. And I remember I had a bottle of Hypnotic. What's the blue one?
Hypnotic.
No, for real. And I had something else I shouldn't have had right there. Okay, I ain't gonna say it, but I had that right there, and I just found myself saying, "Who are you? You weren't raised this way. This is not. You have gone so far away from who you were. You don't even know who you are right now." And I called my mama, and I was crying at this point. And she said, "Umini, you are being called." And I was like, "To what?" "No, I'm not." She was like, "You are being called." And God had to separate you. Just like in all of your stories, there is separation, which we now call sanctification. Now that we know better, sanctifying you, stripping you, separating, pulling you away so that you can have that one-on-one encounter with him. And I promise, I had that talk. My mom was there to confirm, like Leah said, and she was there to help me understand what was going on. Mm-hmm. And I cried and cried and cried. And she said, it's okay. He is calling you out of darkness. And literally, I didn't have any lights turned on. Like I was that so far gone. I didn't have any lights turned on. I was just there. And that's when the Lord, like Leah said, I got an image that I'm calling you to more. Like there's such a calling on your life that you can't stop here. This is not you. So that was I always remember that encounter. And so that's what in this book, we are leading ladies to an encounter. Remember your first love, okay? Or if you haven't had an encounter, we are going to touch and agree that you will have your encounter with God so that there will be no denying that he is real in your life and that he has a purpose for your life. So that's me. That was my...
I have a question to chime on you. Yeah. How did you forgive yourself in that time? Because I think a lot of times we get so caught up we get stuck in our mess that even when God pulls us out of it, where there's no residue, we still find ourselves trying to re-stick back to what we used to be based upon who knew our secrets or who knew us in that time. And so how did you forgive yourself to say, I'm not stuck there and I have no residue left on me there, to not try to re-stick yourself there?
Can I say that I'm still forgiving myself?
Come on.
Can I say that I wrote the first Girl Hurt No More because I'm still forgiving myself? And and that whole chapter in the first one was about unforgiveness. Like the enemy always still tries to bring up my past. You know, like even just sharing that, the enemy will want to shame me and say, Pastor B, you can't share that. You know, people gonna look at you different. And I got to get to the point where I say, I'm not there anymore. I'm not stuck to that anymore, you know? So I am continuously forgiving myself when the enemy kind of brings it back. I know I've been forgiven by God, but I'm continuously, that's why I write. So that's a part of my healing process to say, I'm not going to not tell my story. Like, that's why I was so glad Ashley went ahead and told her. You know how hard that is for somebody to be in front of the church, in front of, you know, being castigated by everyone, the pastor's daughter, then to say that you got pregnant at 21, unmarried. You know what I'm saying? Like, how did you forgive yourself, Ashley?
I want to caveat that by saying that it was even a little worse for me because my brother had just did it 4 years prior. So, you know, my son and my daughter and Jaden are literally, they're 4 years apart. So we have both encountered my parents are pastors, so your first one do it, and then boom, literally 4 years apart, and then here we go again. But for me, that was so good that you said that the enemy likes to bring it up because I live with a daily reminder, right? My daughter, I live with her daily. I look at her daily, but I've learned to forgive myself.
Yeah,
I love her deeply.
Yeah,
and sometimes it takes us loving ourselves more.
Yeah, than our mistakes.
Come on. And to love yourself more. So I love on her deeply. And a lot of times he uses her to try and, because let's be real, she's a teenager, right? So we going through those phases, but he uses her a lot of times to try to get me to, well, if you would have never, or if you could have done this a little, no, sir, absolutely not. She's here. And she's a product of grace. And I
I love that.
I have to keep I remind myself of that. And I have to remind her that her middle name is Grace. And that's so funny that my mom actually named her, right? And it was through all of this we going through, it was Grace. She kept saying, so I don't care what the first name, but somewhere in there, we got to put Grace. And I feel like that was the Lord telling me.
Yeah, a reminder.
a little grace, right? You got to give
Mm.
yourself a little. I've given you the grace, and a lot
Yes.
of times we don't even want to accept the grace that He's
Right.
given us. That's what helps us to forgive. It's the grace, right? It's
Yeah.
His grace,
Yeah.
and so it's so crazy because most of my family call her. You never hear them say just Maya. It's always Amaya Grace. Amaya Grace, Amaya Grace, and
I
it's a
love
constant reminder
I love that.
that it
Thank
was
you,
the
Lord.
grace.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Lord. I love that.
Don't pick back up what God nailed to the cross.
Come on.
You got that right.
Whatever's nailed there, there's no point of picking it back
Gotta
up.
stay
It's not-
there.
It's finished. Like
It's finished. Toss it into that sea. Hey. I'm not going to dwell there. I like
Right.
that question. We got another one.
All right. So we are now in you're now in your faith walk. Are you ankle deep, knee deep, waist deep, or are you swimming? Let me go ahead and start before y'all start, because y'all come with this profound and deep stuff.
You
and I'm
profound too,
thinking,
Leah.
like,
You're profound too.
I'm new to this. I'm not true to this. So I
Yes, you
am
are.
knee deep. I'm knee deep. I'm where he's getting me out of my comfort zones. Like this right here, way out of my comfort zone.
Same.
I felt out of my league before I started. I'm feeling out of my league right
No.
now, but I'm growing. Like
Yes.
I'm developing. I keep saying this. I'm becoming, and I don't know what that looks like. Like I'm in a season now where I don't really know what I like. Like my kids at school are always asking me, well, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite animal? What you like doing? I always be like, I really don't know anymore. Like my favorite colors change, my favorite animal change. Who I'm becoming is having me grow into foreign things I've never seen really before. And I'm learning how to become that girl.
Yeah.
So
Period.
You are that girl. Give
Period.
yourself space
Period.
and grace to grow
Yes.
into it.
Grace again.
You have
Yeah.
to give yourself
Yes.
space and grace to grow into. It's like a parent. You buy your children a shoe that's not the size that they are. That you give space for them to grow into it. So since you are new in this, give yourself some space. If you're so tight with yourself, how can you grow?
Come on.
You get what I'm saying? It's like a turtle or a fish. They only grow to the size of their tank. You put them in the sea, they grow bigger. So like give yourself space to grow into that. You are just like us, literally. Like you are, like you're not small. Like
Right.
you actually came more prepared than me. You got a background, you got a mic.
Hey.
Right. But all of this
Okay,
You are
This is
you
a
are
real
who-
podcast.
Wait, I want you to move the camera so we can see the light, because
Love
it's
Leah.
the light for me.
Shift
Like,
girl.
over. You do not sleep on your
There you go.
love Leo.
Love
Okay.
Leah.
You
sleep on
better.
yourself. It's the
You're
light for me.
prepared.
Right.
You are who you are. You're there. Like you are that girl. Been
Yeah.
that girl. Forever gonna be the girl.
I received
Yeah.
that.
Period.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All
For
right,
me,
Ashley.
this chapter was really crazy for me because I honestly think that he shifts us through all of these phases at so many different times in your life. Sometimes you can be swimming, right? And you can come right on back to being ankle deep or knee deep. And so I say right now in this stage and phase that he's taking me through in 2024, I am knee deep. And I say knee deep. And that's so funny that you said, oh, I'm just knee deep in this thing. No, I'm knee deep because I've been constantly in this season on my knees, right?
Oh.
And that's in my prayer closet in 2024. Okay. He has called me so much more to prayer. And I've been praying like never before in my life, you know, so that I'm constantly before him on my knees. So my faith is knee deep, meaning it's as deep as my prayer. Hello, it's gonna take me. So that's where I am with it. Like I said, I've been swimming before, and I've been ankle deep. I had a lot of people don't know this, and I've never shared this. But before Brandon and I got pregnant with Braden, I had 3 miscarriages, right? And so we were praying for God to help us to conceive, because truly that's what we wanted. And so I just remember being in a time of just like my faith was so shattered. And so I called my mama and I was like, hey, like, come on, what's happening? And why is this me? And she sat on the phone and she let me just go all around the world, right? And then she said, you done? And I said, What? She
That
said
sound like her.
all this is right. It's him just testing your faith. She said, now that you done got it all out your system, we can believe together and we can do this thing together. It's a faith walk, right?
Yes.
So we can walk through this together and we can watch him do it, or we can keep crying and complaining about it and let it be. And so that thing shook me. And ever since, and people laugh, like I always post the videos of Braden with the mic, and he loves to, he is a worshiper at heart, literally already at one, right? And I think that comes from my worship being a little different and my faith having to be deepened through that time in that season of our lives, right? And so it just is all is in him. And so right now, that's where I'm at. I'm knee deep. It's the prayer. It's the prayer for me, because baby, I feel on my knees around here. And raising kids causes you to stay on your knees. Raising a teenager, my knees be rusty inside.
For real. I got knee pads.
You know, you coming up out of there like, oh Lord, you know, because honey, and it'll do it to you.
Yes.
So I'm knee deep too, Leah.
I think I'm the same. I think I'm ankle, knee, waist, and swimming.
Come on.
Okay.
Look, but I say that because like I'm ankle deep in some areas that I've never seen before, like my business. I've never been in this avenue. I'm ankle. I'm just stepping in. I'm strengthening that faith towards that. But as far as something like healing, I'm swimming. I seen God. Ooh. My mom, I know. Like I saw with my own eyes. I can swim. Woo! Throw a floaty, I can go save them too. Like I can talk about the stories.
Jesus.
It goes back to ways. Like I think certain things in life, there's different levels of faith because it's a new I don't know, adventure. Like you haven't been there before. Something that you've been through already and you already know the outcome. It's like, oh, I can swim in this. I can do backflips. I could, do cannonballs. But when you're new to something, you're going in like, step by step. Like the deeper we go, you're trying to test out the waters. And so for me, it depends on what area of faith I'm in as far as finances, and that can really go towards what level I'm in. On average, I'll say I'm knee, sometimes waist.
Yeah.
But if you throw it deep, a wave,
feel like you're drowning.
I may go back to ankle, I may run to the shore. So it just depends really on what what topic it is. So yeah,
that's good. I think I'm wading at waist deep right now in certain areas, right?
Yeah.
But I know that I will be swimming.
Okay.
Because I'm getting hit on so many sides, and I know he's leading me to say, now I'm releasing you. Swim. You've got everything that you need. Swim now. But right now, he's still kind of, and I'm scared, because if the water is waist deep, I know I'm going deeper. And so it's scary for me, right? And so he's still leading me, but kind of like, eventually you're going to have to swim. That's what I hear him say. Eventually you're going to have to swim. It's going to get so high, you're going to have to swim. And so that's where I'm at now. Like, Lord, help me swim in this because you have already equipped me, help me know, help me fix my mind on the thought of swimming, the act of swimming. That's where I'm at.
And we don't realize it. I don't think. I just got this picture. Like God is like a lifeguard at the beach. Like he sits high. Yeah. So we may not see the shark or the attacks coming, but he knows when to bring us in. We in ourselves are like, oh God, I ain't trained to swim. I don't know. Are you sure? Is it gonna take me over? And I think God's I know God is saying, I'm the lifeguard. I see so much further than you can. You sit at shore bay level. I see above. So when I call you in, trust my voice. Like Leah said, I'm learning to know his voice so you can come back. Come back to shore, and then I'll send you back out again, and you can go back through the process of ankle, knee, waist, and swimming. Yeah. But it's all within the trusting of coming back to shore and then going back out further. And the further you go, I feel like you can, equip yourself.
I love that. That's so good. He's the lifeguard. Yes. Mm-hmm. And the lifeguards see danger. Mm-hmm. So if you don't see the lifeguard running after you and jumping in the water, why are you fearful?
Right.
He knows when you're about to drown. That's
Right.
that's their duty, is to watch. So he knows when it's about to overtake you, and they will jump in right in time. I like that analogy. I do.
And even when the lifeguard is running towards to save somebody, he's probably yelling, "Hey, hey!" And then everybody on the beach that's watching is trying to get their attention too, like, "Hey, hey, somebody's coming!"
Right.
So
Encouraging you. You're
you
helping.
gotta make sure your inner circle is encouraging you.
There you go, Leah.
gotta
See,
make
Leah,
sure.
see you. Leah.
Hold on, Leah.
That was good.
Whoa, let's talk about this inner circle now. Hold on. What kind of inner circle do you need to have in this kind of season now?
You have to have a godly inner circle. I'm learning that I can't listen to everybody because I'm becoming wise now. So sometimes they say something, I'm gonna be like, "What? You still think like?" But hey, I'm still learning too. And then I gotta call. Sometimes I have somebody that I call, like, "Hey, this is how I'm feeling. This is what's going on." And like Ashley say, she listens. She lets you get it all out. And then she come back and she gonna tell you the truth in love. She gonna tell you the stuff that you don't want to hear. So that's what you need to grow. I don't need somebody that's a yes man to me all the time. Yeah, do that. Yeah, girl, you got like, no, I need somebody to say, "Hey, you going in the wrong direction. Stop, turn around."
Yeah.
Make sure you reevaluate, count up the cost. Like Pastor said, we got to count up the cost.
Oh, that was oil. Count the cost. That was oily. Okay. For me, I can go a ways with this inner circle stuff. And it's only because I feel like in this season of life, I just have that mentality, like the kids say, when I say standing on business, like I'm legitimately standing on business. And I don't have the time or the capacity. And this me being real honest and candid right here, because that's what we're here for. But I don't have time for the foolishness, like in this season and what he's doing in my life and where he's taking me in my life. I don't have the capacity for the mess. And so I don't. And I have an inner circle and it's very tight. And it's so crazy when they be like, "Oh, when you growing up and you be like, oh, your mama be like, oh, I ain't one of your little friends." No. It comes back full circle because she is
not your friend.
Hello, and don't play with me because I'm finna call her. And if it don't sound right, if it don't add up right, if it ain't, I'm calling my mama.
Me too. But hold on, that didn't sound. Hold on.
Right. So I don't. She's definitely in that inner circle, but I do have. I got four.
You got some other circles, right? Because we don't just sometimes have one circle.
Yeah.
We have separate. For like me, business, I have a circle here. Now, some of my circle, my inner circle that knows unity, okay, because that's another thing. Being who I am, even in ministry, everybody can't be in my circle.
Period.
Okay. And I've realized that, and that's okay. And so the people that know me intimately, they know unity, they don't know just Pastor B. They sometimes flood some of those other circles, and give advice, wise counsel, because they do know me. But I think we all got to have small circles also as you are networking and moving.
Absolutely.
But everybody don't have to know everything.
And let me throw this out there too. This just a good little nugget, and I've learned this from my parents. Like my mama don't have a lot of friends, and I used to grow up, and I used to be like, "Why the heck is that? Like, why is it that she like I can count on my hand the number of people that my mom talks to, right?" And I've learned that it's almost like being in a delivery room, right? And when you don't want everybody all up in your space and everybody don't know how to talk to you or what you need to do inside of that moment, I don't like everybody up inside of my delivery room, especially when it comes down to delivering your dreams, especially when it comes down to the vision for yourself and the things that God is calling you to do. I can't handle it. Like you cannot, I don't need you in my space, because I need those who are really on track with what he's doing in my life, right?
Yeah.
So that I can pour into you when he finished pouring into me. Like
Right.
it's a give, right? And sometimes it is give and take. So I mean, that kind of stuff I don't play about, for real. And I don't play about my friends. We go hard for each other. Literally, one of them just texted me and was like, "You're right. We do not play. We don't. We go hard for each other. We go hard, physically, and then we go hard spiritually. Like we war with each other. We war for each other. And I think that's so important. And I know that you mentioned about your mom. I just couldn't imagine like not having the right circle around you, right? When you were going through all of that with your mom, like imagine somebody being in a room with you that couldn't pray. Like, what are you here for? What
are you here for?
Right.
What are you here for?
What are you here for?
And when you lose sight, you need somebody to be able to call out the gifts and talents and call out the greatness in you and call the word to you. Somebody that's gonna pour into you, especially
and
when
remind you.
Yeah.
So
like you really can do this. You are an overcomer. Your faith ain't weak. God is gonna provide. He is gonna bring her out.
Yes.
Okay? You need somebody that's gonna call it out.
Them the friends.
A hype woman.
Them the friends.
Because I'm gonna be the biggest. I'm gonna hype you up.
I think right now
what the song say, that's my bestie, and I'm gonna hype her up. We gonna do that. We gonna hype each other because we not about in 2024, and even just in life in general, we not about not hyping each other up, because I think that a lot of women get stuck in that. Like I'm not here to compete with you. Like
I was just gonna say that.
There's no we here to collaborate, not compete, baby. And if you here to compete, there's nothing. Sorry. There's nothing I can do for you, because I don't have that compete in me.
Right.
Sorry, it's not there. So yeah.
To Shayla, you were gonna say something.
I was gonna piggyback off Ashley, like she's on fire, but no, that's true. Like I think I struggled at one point of staying small. Ooh. Right. Sometimes you reach a point. I'm gonna use an illustration. Like you reach your cap. And God's saying, I have a bigger vessel to pour you into, which gives you more space to grow into something, but you want to stay here. Like you want to stay at this cap. You don't want to go, into something bigger. Right. And so I think for me, for so long, I stayed stagnant. I stayed complacent and with no flow of anything because I had no more room for it.
Look at her reading in the book. That girl been taught well. Go ahead, Shayla.
I didn't want to get rid of what I already had. I felt like that was good enough. Right. And God's like, it's good, but I can give you greater.
Better.
Like better, greater, all that. I can do that. I can exceed what you're expecting. I can give you more than what you've ever imagined. And so I've learned to let people fall off on their own sometimes. Because sometimes you don't want controversy, you don't want all the extra. So you continue to grow. And as you grow and you're stretching, they tend to fall off. Or she's not answering anymore, or she's too busy. And so that's kind of how I got rid of my circle and made it to what it is today. Because people kind of left off and it was like, oh, she's changing. She doesn't want to go out and have shots. And, the other things that can occur. But like you said, people are so busy on competitiveness. Oh, you think you're better because, and so I got tired of watching what I can say around my friends. And I realized you're not my friend if I can't come to you excited about something.
And you're excited with me.
And if I feel like the energy went low, including family. Forget just a friend, including family.
Yes,
if I call you and I'm excited and you seem uninterested, I won't call you anymore.
No,
you won't know until the internet knows. It's no love lost. It's more so you're not saying worship me, but you're not praising what God is doing in my life.
You're not celebrating with me what God is doing in my life. Yeah.
And you don't realize that when this flows over, you get something.
You get it. You get the overflow.
So that's it. Yeah. That's all.
Listen, you said something that's so powerful. Hold up those two bottles again. See, this is what I like. You said sometimes we get so fine and maybe we don't feel we're worthy for a bigger bottle than that, but you need somebody on your team that's going to present that other bottle. the
Yep.
other opportunity and tell you your potential. I need people in this season in my circle that say, girl, that's too small.
Yeah,
Girl, I don't know what you was thinking.
This is all crumbly. This got some sturdiness on it. We got some stability.
It's got some lead and some sturdiness
got
in
some
it.
Yeah, we
just play.
It worked out. Look, it worked out.
It did. But no, seriously, you need people on your team that's gonna say, girl, that's too small. Like for in planning the Girl Hurt No More conference, like my circle believes so much more in me sometimes than I do. It's so sad. I'm getting better, y'all. I promise.
Right.
But they're like, that's too small. Even Lady C, Ashley Mama was like, we might need a bigger space. And I was thinking, really? You think so? And they're like, huh? Yes, the vision is so great because it's a God-given vision. So you need people on your team that's literally gonna say, girl, that's too small. We moving on. You did that last year. What else are we gonna do now? Okay, like
what are we adding? Yeah.
You did a photo shoot. The people don't know, and you're gonna have to drop that information in the chat. But you have a whole brand, and then you just did such professional photo shoot. I bet years ago you didn't think about that. But you need people on your team to say, this is possible. You need somebody on your team to say, no, that's possible. And then you need somebody else on your team or the same person to say, and I'm going to help you do it.
Right.
And honestly,
can we talk about that?
Even with friendships, though, sometimes we only want wisdom. Sometimes we only shut our ear off to have outside like angels speak to us, right? We think, oh, you're not in my circle, bad advice. Sometimes I think it's good to chew up the meat and spit out the bones, because I almost canceled my photo shoot, but my photographer, who I'm not in my close circle, said, I don't think you should do that. Let's work through it. Let's do, so have your inner circle, but have an ear for discernment to know when God is sitting an angel and say, hey, I'm coming through somebody different because you're familiar. This is familiar area.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I need to make sure you can still hear me through people.
Right.
Because and so I think that helped me realize it's time to go. And whoever's not willing to go, it's okay. It's like picking up your cross daily. When you pick up your cross, you leave whatever's there, because the cross is already heavy enough. So when you pick it up daily, whatever the junk is not, it got to stay. I got to keep going. Yeah. And so,
I like that. Yeah. That's so good. Ashley, you were about to say something?
Oh, no. That was good.
So I got another question. This is a heavier question. Okay, so I want you all to think about it. On page 11, it says you have the power to move into what he has called you to do. You've got to command your body to move in rhythm with the flow of God in your life. Okay, that's on page 10, actually. Okay, so here's my question. How does someone begin to command their body to move forward in the rhythm with the flow of God?
Practice dancing. And by that, I mean worship. Like sometimes we go to God and we want an answer. We go and we clock in and we talk. But how does that look to hush and to dance with your Father? Like, how does that look to catch his rhythm? How can you catch it constantly talking? You're talking over the beat. You have to be quiet. Be quiet enough to be able to hear him, and then you can dance to the tune of the rhythm with him.
I love that. You got to be quiet. And if you're dancing with him, you're feeling him. Yeah. You're feeling his movement.
It's the rhythm.
It's the rhythm. You are feeling it, right? Oh, I love that. That's good.
Oh, that is ooh, okay. So
yeah, she said it all.
Yeah, like for real. And honestly, I was just gonna say that we have to be in she said it, with the same rhythm as God, but the only way for us to be able to do that is from getting in his word, right? And really seeking his face. That's why he tells us to seek ye first the kingdom of God, and everything else he'll add to us, right? So commanding my body means that sometimes, let's just throw it out there, sometimes we don't like to do, right? We just don't like to put in our bodies what's healthy. We don't like to do what is healthy for us. but we know that it's good for us, right? Sometimes we don't like to get into the word. Let's be real. Sometimes I don't feel like praying right now. You telling me to pray. I don't
Yes.
feel like praying, right? I don't feel like it. So commanding my body is putting my body under subjection to him. And in order for me to be able to do that, it's the word. I've got to constantly feed my mind the word, feed my body the word, so that I'm able to know and how to get in rhythm with him, right? And everything with God is a rhythm. Everything with him is his timing. Rhythm has to do with timing. Everything, we have to be in the same time, in the same movement with God, right? And we can't do that.
That's good.
That's
We
true.
cannot, we cannot do that without hearing from him. That quiet time. And I am real protective over my quiet times in the morning. And I get that again from my mama. Anything that's happening around here before I clock in to anybody's job, I get these kids off to, I need my time, right? I need it. And that's how you stay in rhythm with him, is spending time with him. You can't be in rhythm with somebody who you don't spend time with. That's like being married. We can't, I don't know you. Like, we could be roommates. I would not know you. I wouldn't know the things that you like, the things that we couldn't dance. Like you said, we can't be partners in anything if we ain't spending time together.
Right.
And that's
so good.
And the tempo changes, like you said, when you get in the word. Worship is like when you have anxiety, when God's saying, I'm slowing the tempo down. I need you to flow. And he'll speed it up and you'll begin to praise and stomp and shout. And, so I think it's all about where you are, but you wouldn't know where you are unless you get into the word with him. And he'll tell you it's a time to praise. That's a bad report, but I need you to praise.
Oh, come on now.
I need you to be
come on now. Yes.
I need you to take your spirit up.
Yes.
That's bringing you down.
Yes.
And so I think when you get into the word, he'll introduce you to what tempo he's on so you can actually catch the beat.
And
catch the beat. Somebody type that in the chat. Catch the beat.
Yeah, can I just throw this out here as a worship leader? That's why it's so important that when you come in on Sundays and the worship time is so important. And I think we have to get back to that inside of church. It does not matter who is leading the worship, because it's not about the person, but it's about what you need from God, right? And so that is a time that is set aside for you to be able to get in the rhythm and flow of God. That's what the worship is for. That's the time. That's the timing, right? That we've set aside to be able to praise, and we've set aside to be able to worship. That's why I don't care about what y'all how y'all looking at me and how you feel about how it
don't matter.
I need something from him. Listen,
but you know what it is? You came in with it. See, what you and Shayla are saying is the same. Before I even get to church, I done had a worship. Okay. I'm coming to extend it, and I'm coming to really help y'all worship, because I know what I just left at my own house and in my own spirit. And I'm just coming in here to fellowship and be amongst other people that are having the same flow. But it comes with being in devotion with the Lord myself. I have a relationship with him myself, and I get into his flow. And that's why you can have people where you trying to raise your hand and you bumping into them because they just standing there like this. And you like, look, you might have to go sit over there. I'm finna, because when my hand go up, your hand need to go up too. You just messing up the vibe, like Shayla said. It's just
don't come to Girl Her no more and think we finna be sitting in here looking crazy. I'm just gonna throw that out there because it's not that. No, like it's definitely not that. Listen, it's not gonna be that.
They're gonna be so ready after this book talk,
right?
That
they're gonna y'all for coming. I'm telling you, you better catch it, because he is doing. He is catch the beat. I need that. I need that. Catch the.
Hey, that's a shirt, Ash. We gonna have.
There you go.
We're gonna have some merch.
Catch the beat.
It's yours, Ash.
Baby,
I'll buy it.
You better watch my feet, because baby, he's done too much. Like he's done too much. That's it.
Listen, here's another one we talked about in the Leah, you got this one. Go ahead.
All right. So, have you moved away from your home base, and if so, what was home for you? Have you moved from your home base? And if so, what was your home? What was your
Leah, what's
safety?
home?
Right. Tell me what home is.
Home could be whatever you're comfortable with. What's your safe
Mm.
place?
So look, in the book, we talked about the woman at the well, and her home base was Jacob's well.
Mhm.
And in the book, it does talk about the history of Jacob's well, which had good and bad history on that same plot of land. But she became the history of that land. So whereas there were blessings, there were also curses and rapes and things like that on that same land. And she was getting the residue of rainwater. It wasn't even a fresh flow of water coming in that well. She became just that. That was her home base. And so Jesus told the disciples, I have a need to go through Samaria. I got to go to this girl's home base. Guess what? Because she ain't never going to come to mine. And I know the Lord has done that with many of us. We ain't never going to come to him. So he's got to invade our space and come to us. So what's your home base?
Listen, my home base for the longest time had been in the background. And you and I had this encounter. I'll never forget it. When it was like your first time ever speaking at PBC, and I was in the green room with you. You were getting ready. You said, "What you do here?" And I said, "Nothing. I literally sit in the background. I sing in the background of worship, and that's it. I dabble with the kids, and that's it." And you said, "That's not all you do." And I walked out of that room like, girl, who was you talking to? Because clearly,
you don't know me.
right, you don't know my life, right? And so just recently, I would say in the past, year and a half, shout out to my daddy, because it's so hard to tell him no. Anytime it comes up, with anything that he's asking of anybody, in worship or anything inside of the church, it's so hard to be like, no, I'm not fixing to do that. But he has been pushing me, and I mean literally forcing me to come from the background, right, to forward. And I think a lot of times my home base was in the background because, Lord, who wants to see my worship? Who wants to see
Insecurity.
who wants to see what it's like when I'm here? This just between me and you, God. This ain't for everybody. And he's been more and more, and I mean unintentionally and intentionally, because God is very intentional, right?
Yes.
And in the book, I went through this book and I highlighted it. It says, like the water, some people may be awaiting your obedience, right? To move beyond the confines of your comfort zones, to transfer a region for better. And it says, perhaps there's a person, an individual in a region that needs you. And that thing shook my world, because perhaps there was somebody that I've been disobedient from. I ain't doing it. I don't want to do it. No, I am a background singer. To now I am leading the worship. And hey, my obedience has the ability to change the region, to change what's happening, not only just inside of PBC, but we go to the world, right? The internet is worldwide. So to change the world, from people being able to see my worship, and the Lord, he really did. He had been, and he's been dealing with me in that. Like, there's no more selling yourself short, being safe, being okay, this is my comfort zone, this is all I've ever done, and I used to tell people all the time, listen, the Lord called my parents, he didn't call me. And I walked comfortably in that, because no, he didn't call me. He called First Lady and Pastor C. He didn't call Ashley. He called Jamel, because my brother will preach till Jesus come back. He definitely did. But then he started pushing me every now. Oh, I need you to open up in prayer. You need me to do what?
And you've been doing your thing though.
All of these people you got in here that know how to utter up a prayer before God, you want me to do it?
And do.
And so it's been that, but I'm learning to get away from my home base. So that was my home base in the background. I loved being just in the background. I'm hands-on behind, even with the kids, kids church. I've been behind the scenes and okay, whatever y'all need me to do, I'll do it. But I don't need all of that. And I always tell you that, no, ma'am, I don't need all of that.
And I get tired of hearing it.
But here I am in 2024, and he's been doing a great work, and yes. I've just been sitting back like, okay, I hear you and I see you, because clearly this is you, nobody but you, and you just using my daddy because you know I can't tell him no. How about that?
Right. And he'll do it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was it for
home
me.
base.
Whew. So
we coming your way.
Right.
Look, it's honestly like the four of us, I was like literally like asking God, like, God, what do you want me to say? Right. Because we all have a voice to be, heard. So it's kind of like baseball. Like whenever you are coming up to bat, you're at home. And the goal is to get back home, right? So you're either trying to strike out because you're nervous to run first base or do whatever. And so home is safety. And so for me, safety was hiding behind my dad's success.
Ooh.
But I hid for so long behind daddy's success that God put daddy in the bad bind, right? Over his own junk, of course, but I had to come out of that because I could no longer hide in his success. I could no longer be in comfort of, if I don't have it, daddy got the bills. And I was going to my earthly father before I was going to my heavenly father. So God said, I'm gonna get him out the way and I'm gonna expose you to where you have no home base. Ooh. Your home base is me. You got to come back home. So my home base was hiding behind my dad. My dad was success. I mean, he still is, but he's going through his own process, but it was great. Right. It was great all the way up until it wasn't.
Right.
And then when his world came crumbling, I felt like mine was too, because it's attached to me. Like, wait a minute, you can't fall. Because if you fall, and I think that was God saying, you're idolizing your earthly father when I placed him here to just do a work for me. You know what I'm saying? He's attached to you because I allowed that. Right. But I am home. And so I had to get back home. Yeah.
Ooh, I love that. Leah.
For me, I'm like Ashley. I like being in the background. I don't need everybody knowing, oh, she did this, she did that. No, I'll help you. I'll serve. I'll do anything I can. But I don't need the recognition. No, like Leah did this, Leah did that. No, I'll be in the background. And just for me is just storing up. I feel like I get so much word and like, I need this for me. I need this for me to grow. I can't share this with other people. But I feel like sometimes God is calling me, hey, tell these people what you know. Tell these people what you're learning. Even though you're in the beginning, you still learning stuff. You still growing. You still becoming. But I was like, no, I still need this for me. I ain't got it all together yet. And I feel like mine is just hiding behind, just trying to be invisible. Really, sometimes I just want to be invisible.
Yeah.
I just want to be invisible. But Leah, like you already have a setup for the podcast. So like he's calling you to be in front of the camera.
She knows that. You're not the only one that keeps saying that, but I
I'm just confirming like you're supposed to be in front of the camera, not behind it. God got the edit.
To Shayla, we didn't even share with you. She was the teacher of the year at her school last year.
See?
Oh, okay.
I can talk in front of kids. I can talk in front of kids all day. They say go talk in front of some adults. Nah, I'm good. And I think kids are bigger critics than adults, but that's
a fact.
But that's the thing though. Wait a second. Kids are more critics because they don't have shame built on them. Ooh. So you have to unravel the layers of life. Like whatever life wrapped you in, it's time to unwrap. Reveal it. Okay, I'm exposing this because the doctor will tell you put the bandage on so it can start healing, but eventually you got to take it off to expose the wound to its environment so it can heal. Yeah. And so while you're wanting to be covered up, God's saying, I am your covering, but I need you to unwrap out of life layers, right? Woo! No more of the guilt of I went this way, I made this bad decision. Like you are, like know who you are and whose you are. Yeah. You are Leah, but you belong to God and you're his daughter. Right. And so when you sit in that title of his daughter, it don't matter what comes your way. I can speak because my daddy says so.
Ooh,
I don't care what you say. My daddy.
Ooh, my daddy says
so. The authority.
My daddy says
that.
So one day I'm gonna put fear in the audience. I'm gonna put it in the audience, and I'm
today
coming out.
you gonna put fear in the audience.
And actually,
It's
Today.
hard
I
to
mean,
be
this
right
is
now upset that you did this because you said yes to this and you didn't want to originally.
Right.
And I don't even know you, but I'm not your business. I'm not your business.
No,
Go
you
ahead.
because sis, you've been in it all night, but that's good though because I received that. And this
Right.
is my first time using this podcast background. I done had this over a year. I would
Oh,
make
okay.
videos,
It's
keep them to
time.
myself.
It's time.
The
And
time
this
is
question was
now.
for you to come on out your little home base,
Wait
out
a
of the little
minute.
closet that you in down there, and
Pause.
expose some light.
Sorry, Miss Bear, I'm gonna take this for 1 second.
Go ahead.
It's time. And I say that because nations could be waiting on you. When are you going to be
Come on.
obedient?
Ooh,
Like, when are
don't
you going to be
always tell
obedient?
me I'm raising a nation.
Come
Like,
on.
nations are waiting on you. And your audience could be the teen girls who are lost.
Thank you.
God didn't put you as a teacher for nothing. Like, you speak to the kids because they're more relatable. Yeah, they're critics, but you can keep them in being a daughter to the king. You know what I'm saying? Instead of letting them become an adult, trying to come back to being a daughter again. Like, if we stay in the office of a daughter and we actually bask in that, it's like the scripture, ask and you shall receive. And I'm gonna stop after I get here. When you go at, like, when a child goes to ask their mom, they tug on their parent's leg until their parent responds. Me, I'm like that with Jesus. I'm tugging. Hey, Daddy, you left me out.
Touch your hem.
And
Right.
I pull like a daughter. And then when I'm looking, I can't find it. Where's my favorite toy? Where your child come do? They ask mommy.
Ask
where's
mommy,
my
daddy.
truck? Where's my dog?
That's it.
The parent goes and helps their child find the missing toy. So the same thing for you when you're looking and seeking to find, ask him like a child would do. When you're knocking on your parents' door, they get so annoyed they open it. Come in, child. Come in. So the same thing goes for you. Like, when you are a daughter, it's okay to pull on your father's pants and say, I'm here, and I won't stop pulling until you look down and say, hey, I got
What you need? What you need?
Right.
I need this.
And when you cry out and say, God, I can't find the answer, or I'm lost, or I don't know where to go, he will come help you. He's here. He's omnipresent. He's here saying, hey, call on me and I'll help you find the job or find the raise or find the extra money. But if you come to me like a daughter, I'll help you find it. It's when you think you're an adult and you want an adult bill. And he's like, all right, cool. I'm going to go help my daughter who
needs me. Right.
Because childlike faith is in the word, so it's time. And I'm done. I'm going back in the background.
That was so good. That was so
good.
That was really good.
Listen, I'm going to skip to one of our last questions here. And audience, you are in that chat. They got that chat lit up. That chat is live.
I can't keep up with
Let me look.
They are lit in this chat now. And so I want to pose this last question, and we will take audience questions if you have any, and we will even read some of your responses. I did see a great response. But here's this question to you all. How have you moved beyond trauma to embrace triumph? That's on page 38. Have you moved beyond trauma to embrace triumph?
I'm in the middle. You can go, Ashley.
No, go ahead.
I haven't made it to triumph yet. I'm still dealing with the trauma. I'm still healing. I'm still learning and growing. So I haven't completely made it to the other side yet. Sometimes I feel like I get stuck in the middle, like, oh, sometimes I want to go back, but I know I came too far to go back. And then I know the only way through is through. So I haven't I've seen triumphs, I've seen victories, and I've seen God prove himself to me over and over. Like, hey, you can trust me. You can really let go. You can surrender. You really can surrender. You really can do this thing, and I'll order your steps. I'll tell you to go right. I'll tell you to go left. I'll tell you what to do, and I give to you as you need it. But it's the fact that I've seen him move, but I haven't made it to my triumph. I guess what I'm trying to say, I haven't made it to where I want to be yet. I don't know.
You're still becoming.
If that makes sense. I'm still becoming.
That's her. You're still becoming.
I'm still becoming.
I think that life gives us traumas, right? And so one of the biggest traumas I've ever encountered in my life, literally just Braden is 1, almost 2. So I told you about the hardship that we had conceiving. And then all of the things through pregnancy, Pastor B, you know this, all of the things that they tried to, they tried to give me some type of blood disease. I mean, like, oh my God. And it was so horrible. Like, right. My pregnancy, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't the best. And then I get to the delivery, and I had such a traumatic delivery to the point where I have vowed to never have kids again because it was literally that traumatic, And I oftentimes it's so hard. It used to be hard. I will say that it used to be hard for me to talk about because I was so angry with God, for one, because I was like, Lord, how is it that you helped me to go from trusting you to give me this child, and then when it's time to deliver, it was so hard to do, to the point where literally almost I could have lost my life, delivering what you promised.
Woo!
And what you gave to me, because clearly we know that you did it. We didn't do it on our own, based off of all of the things that we did. And the Lord just reminded me so humbly, I mean in the most humblest way, listen, I gave you everything that you asked for. I asked him for a boy because I did not want another girl.
You did.
He blessed our lives with a boy. I asked him, I said, Lord, I want him to be made just like in the most amazing, thing that could ever happen, so that when I look back over this, all I can think is, thank you, Lord, right? All I can do is just lift my hands and say, Lord, this was nobody but you. And sometimes Brady can be very boyish, right? He do some boy things, even at one. And even in that, me trying to be just being a mama and discipline myself, I have to raise my hands and say, you know what, Lord, I asked you for this.
Yes.
I'm going to thank you for what you did and what you're doing. And the triumph is just being able to overcome all of that and still be able to, Lord, I thank you. Because truly I could have died, but you kept me. And that's what he reminds me of. Girl, you asked for this, and I gave it to you. Nobody said that it was going to be easy, right? The trauma in that. Nobody said that it would be easy, but I gave it to you. You survived it. You still alive. You didn't die. There's more in you. You still have time to overcome, right? You still have more. There's more in you. There's more in you. There's more in you.
More
right?
in you.
And I got up literally out of that. It changed my whole perspective on life. Literally, I came out of that, and I vowed to, Lord, you know what? I will never go back to not believing and trusting in you, not trusting in your process, not trusting in whatever it is that you have for me. I'm here. I'm gonna walk through it, because after this, it don't get no worse than this. Like literally, that was my thing. It can't get no worse than this. Like it was, but that was for me how I moved beyond it, and it was a lot of prayer. I mean, I cried, and I cried. But here we are,
and you made it through.
Made it
triumphantly.
Through, literally, with a rambunctious little boy. But God is good. He's good.
For me, like Leah said, I'm still processing trauma, because trauma always represents itself, right?
Yes.
It never leaves. I think we minimize the impact of trauma it has on us, but it never leaves us, in a sense.
Absolutely.
And so for me, I just realized I don't want to put that garment back on. Like I'm it's not mine anymore, right? And so why keep putting the jacket back on of what happened to me at 10? Like, I don't want to stay wrapped up in that. And so for me, I'm still going through it, but I always remind myself, healing is a process. It's a roller coaster. There are sometimes I'm saying, I got this, it's smooth sailing. Then there comes a big fall, and I'm going up and I'm going around again. And so whenever trauma tries to revisit, I always try to remind myself it's not welcomed here. Like you're not there anymore. Don't go back there. Like constant reminders, more so. And then whenever I do a small victory of a trigger that I actually didn't let trigger me in a sense, I do that as a triumph. Like, okay, I passed it today.
Yes.
Tomorrow,
Yes.
a little more grace because
Grace.
it didn't work.
There we go.
Each day, basically telling myself, okay, you made it. You didn't do what you used to do. You didn't go off on them. You didn't, curse to hell. But you actually, so I think each day is a victory for me when I overcome. Like, I could have stayed in bed in depression and called out of work, but I got up today. I showed
Come
up.
on.
So that's a victory for me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I could have let my whoever boss or whoever, my dad make me mad,
but I didn't.
and trigger me. But today I didn't react that way. I actually laughed it off. So that's a victory for me. And I think going through those small daily steps, when I look back, it's big strides. But in the moment, it feels like I'm not making progress. When I look back, Miss Berry can tell you from 9th grade, oh baby, I'm nowhere near the girl who was back there.
Lord,
so just giving myself that grace to say, okay, and then reflecting. I believe in self-reflection. So asking yourself in the mirror. People can tell you what they want in opinions, but be real with yourself. Like, love yourself enough to be real with yourself to say, okay, not hard on yourself, but real, saying, okay, you know you. Yeah. So let's talk about it with yourself and say, okay, God, I can do a little better here. Like, and just working with yourself and then asking your accountability partner, okay, how did I do? Someone who's going to give you the blunt, honest truth and not try to pick you apart to make you feel like you ain't went nowhere.
Yeah, we had that in the chat earlier, that you need an accountability partner. So we got to make sure we got people. And I think they help you embrace triumph.
Yes.
And trauma. Yes, they help you cope with trauma, get through trauma, but they even celebrate with you. And so I have different people in my life in this season where I know I can contact them, like, I'm getting beat up real bad spiritually, and they're like, no, remember when you just came over this, look at this. That's what you need in your life. You need people that are going to help you remember and celebrate the triumph, because the enemy is just going to keep you with that trauma. Remember, you ain't we had someone in the chat that said, I'm still dealing with it. But look where you are now.
Right.
Look where you are now. You are not where you were 5 minutes ago, 2 hours ago, 3 hours. You're now empowered. You feel, ready, charged. And that's what we have to kind of embrace, where we are now. Yes.
Pastor said today that we have to release the weight. We can't hold on to the past. You got to move forward.
You just took the
and
words
it's hard. It's hard. It's hard. But we got to keep following the light.
Yeah, hello, walk behind it though. Like he talked about that. We walking behind the light, right? So he can shine his light in all of those places. And a lot of times with trauma, sometimes we don't realize that we're dealing with trauma. Can we talk about that? Okay. Sometimes it's things that we've had that are very much traumatic, but we chop them up to being, that's just life or whatever the case may be. And we don't really deal with the trauma. And especially as women, we have the tendency to take on so much and just keep dealing with it because that's how we're wired, right? We're always trying to make things happen and, okay, I'm dealing with this and keeping it moving versus taking the time to, here we go, sit still and really deal with the root cause of what it is. And a lot of us, we walk around with trauma, childhood trauma, and we take it into adulthood. And being a woman, it's a lot of times we deal with that, the little girl inside of us. You talk about that, the yellow dress, right? And how we have to deal with that trauma. And I just want to throw this out because I feel like I see it in the chat and everything. And I think this is heavy with us, but even raising kids to learn how to deal with things that are traumatic and making sure that you're giving them the tools to be able to walk through things that are traumatic so that they aren't trauma responding into adulthood.
Yeah. Minister May Farley said, I'm 57 years old and it's hard finding someone that you can trust. So I just deal with my issues by myself. How do we respond to that, ladies? That's good.
So I would say prayer. No matter the age, I feel as though we have to, first of all, we should ask our friends questions. we should court our friends in a sense. We should ask them to see if they even qualify for certain information. Sometimes we feel like, oh, because we look the same and we hang out the same, that we are the same,
Right.
or we are similar. And we don't always walk the same journey. And so when you don't ask questions, you just start pouring like, hey friend. Don't just call a friend, be a friend, and actually know qualifications of a friend. Like, what I look for in a friend and what you look for may not be the same. But until we have that conversation to understand what you expect out of a friendship versus what I expect, then we can walk the same line and walk the same journey. But if I think a friend is just going out and have a good time, and I don't know how to be a friend when it's sorrows and I need to cry, and you feel like I'm nagging you or I'm bringing the weight on you, we have two different friendships. I need my friends to know, like, yes, it's some high roads, but there are some valleys that we go through together.
Come on.
Doing that together, prayer, discernment, pray for your friend, pray for your friend, pray for your friend. God will show you that's not your friend. And sometimes when you pray for your friend, you realize some information get back to you. That's God saying, hey, I'm showing you that's not your friend.
No, come on.
If you keep going and talking to them too much, then you're hurt and you're angry at God as to why he allowed it. But God said, I showed you many signs, not just with the man. Right. There's some red flags in your friend.
With your friendships. Come on, y'all.
Call flag on the play. Hello.
Right.
And then monitoring spirits. Sorry, I'm last thing. When a friend
they don't agree,
monitoring, wanting to know what you're doing and updates, and girl, you didn't tell me about this because I didn't want you to know.
God didn't tell you. Look. God,
so when they get to monitor and they're always hovering over your business but never sharing theirs, they're not.
Okay, you can close the laptop off of that one because honey,
they're not your friend.
This real girl talk.
Right. But I want to piggyback off of that. You said the biggest thing that you said was discernment. And I think in this season, and it does not matter the age, we always have to discern what it is and who it is. I learned it at an early age. I was always that girl, real friendly and everything like that. And then the older you get, the more you start to discern, like, wait a minute, this ain't adding up. Like you said, our spirits ain't aligned. I can hang how you doing and keep it moving. There's no need for you to be in my inner space. You have to
stop calling it out. Everything you see in the spirit, you ain't gotta call it out.
You ain't gotta call it
right.
When God calls us when Jesus calls us a friend, that means friends keep secrets. Sometimes when the Holy Spirit is showing you something in somebody, that's God showing you a secret, saying, okay, it's between me and you. You on game now. Hush.
Right.
Sometimes you
be still.
Be still. Sometimes you talk so much and you call it out, so now they are able to alter themselves to now go into to change a little bit. So that you keep telling your business. Sometimes hush.
Be quiet. Because he tells us that, and that goes back to everybody can't be in the room with you when you delivering your dreams. I'm not, and everybody don't need to know when you're pregnant.
Yeah, be quiet.
It's best to hush. I don't even. You ain't even close enough to me to understand what's happening.
I'm a Haley Berry. Haley Bailey, you.
Come on, she did. She did that in 2023, honey.
I'm a Haley Bailey, you.
Okay, but have y'all realized, like, we are out with some people and you lose your train of thought? For me, that's God saying, "Girl, be quiet." I'm like, oh, I forgot. I don't try to find.
I'm gonna use that one.
Find it.
I can't even remember.
My train of thought.
I don't know.
But here's the thing. And look, I hope the people are right with the time. Listen, because we flowing. I'm sorry, y'all. If y'all got to get off, bye. But listen. I like the fact that Talisha talked in here about different circle groups, right? I think that's seasonal, right? So I've had friends that I grew up with, right? Yeah. Then I've had these kind of friends over here. But in this season, see, we got to be relevant, and that's where it comes with discernment and hearing the voice of God. In this season, I need a certain type of friend. And oftentimes, and I have my inner circle, and they on here, so they know. I don't have to say nothing. They know. And what they'll do is text me, I'm praying. They already know. See, that's the kind of friend I legit need in this season, because I can't even articulate the battles that I'm fighting. Like,
Hello.
I can't even talk. It's so big and so crazy. And so, Minister Farley, I hear what you're saying, but that may be God saying, listen, first of all, and you don't have to say 57 years old, because that friend that God might call you might be 29 years old, right? That friend might be in a different season. That friend might, but he is going to send somebody where you're not going to have to explain your whole situation. Who wants to sit down and recap all the trauma that you just went through? It? No, I just need somebody that's going to talk to God. He gonna tell them what's going on, and I got you. You ain't got to say nothing. I'm praying for you. I got you. That's what we're called to in this season, because I do believe God is doing something different, and we've got to be connected to the right women so that we can birth this thing. Everybody can't be in my birthing room, and I'm learning to be okay with that.
It's real okay.
It's hard, but I'm learning. Like to Shayla, I'm learning. And you know what? They will fall off, because I've had people that just stop contacting me, and it hurts. Okay. It hurts at first, though. Can I be honest? It hurts when they don't return your text messages, when they don't call you back, when they see you and act like they don't know you, and you're like, girl, we were like this. But then you got to stop and say, thank you, Lord.
Yeah. Yes, because God's showing you it was actually envious. Because why are you mad? What are you mad for? Because I actually leveled up, because I was trying to take you with me. So why are we mad again? Hey, you just realize that.
Listen, don't we try? Abraham tried to take Lot. Look, I need Lot to go with me. I got to look out for him. And sometimes God is saying, that's not what I have for you in this season, though. I got different people, and I got a different path for him. He can't go.
Because God can see in their room when you can't. So what they're doing that you're not doing anymore can bring you back to remembrance of the trauma that we're trying to get rid of, so we can get triumph. Because triumph is forward, trauma is behind us.
Yes.
Okay.
But what happens?
Sometimes, go ahead.
No, you can go.
No, I was gonna say sometimes we cry about it, and God's saying, God is a secret keeper. Now let me tell you something. People are gonna get mad about this. Prophets can prophesy. God does talk to prophets. But God also keeps his children secret. Now, when you ask a prophet to pray for you, you're asking them to enter your room. So now they can expose a lot of junk that you were hiding, and God was hiding with you. But so be careful who you're asking for prayer from, because the moment you open that door, it's wide open. And then you're mad because they know your business without you telling them, but it's because you allowed them into it. I don't allow everyone to pray for me.
Oh, listen, I was just about to say that, and I'm not being funny. I wish my brother was on here, because let me tell you, we laugh and we kiki about a lot of things, and they always call me. They be like, "You so crazy," but I'm so serious. If your spirit don't align with mine, and if you up there playing, I might need prayer, but I don't want the prayer from you.
I don't want it that bad.
Because everybody cannot, and it's real. It's a real thing. It's a real, and even sometimes when quote unquote friends, right? I don't need you. I don't need your prayers. No, thank you. No, thank you.
For people in the comments, though, I don't know. Behind I don't know which person in the comment is doing that, but someone is in the comments that's letting everyone pray for them. Whoever that woman or male is, I want to tell you this. If you want prayer, just pray what the Lord puts on your heart. Stop giving people the list of what you need prayer for. That's a monitoring spirit.
Stop giving them access to your spirit. It's
now
access.
For Pastor B, I've wrote her many times and told her what God told me and dropped the mic. I don't need the validation. I just drop it. If she comes back and okay, cool. But sometimes you just pray for people and keep it going. Prophets don't sit, they don't hover on, oh, did it work? What I said? No, prophets speak the word of the Lord and they keep moving. Because they're on to the next assignment. They're on to the next thing. And so for that person, whoever is giving too much information, stop. Hurt no more by being quiet. Mm-hmm. God will send your people. He will send your people to you.
You on mute.
I'm on mute.
No, Pastor B.
Y'all. Sorry.
I'm done talking. Thank y'all.
No, but no, I'm saying that's me. I said, stop trying to, look for a word here, look for a word here, look for a word here. Confirmation, validation. Now you jumping from here. What the Lord say? Mm-hmm. What he told you? Okay, let's stick with that word. Okay, let's stick with that word. We got a comment here. I have never asked anyone to pray for me, pray with me. That way you don't have to ask me what for. Oh, okay, now that's real.
Okay.
That's real now. I've had people inbox me and say, just pray for me. And I say, okay. And because now I'm growing in the spirit, I'll now stop and say, okay, Lord, what should I pray? That's the Holy Spirit's job, literally, is to tell us what we ought to pray for. And so I've done that. And then I've just said, all is well, or here's what the Lord is saying, or, continue to pray. And that's what God does every single time. So we've got to stop jump, because you're going to run into a false prophet. And they're going to tell you, itching ears, they're going to tell you what you think, what they think you want to hear. And it's going to be the wrong message. Wrong message. All right. So, ladies, we are at an hour and 34 minutes. Listen.
It was so good.
It was good.
Y'all shot this thing up. Listen. So it's not next Sunday because we're taking Super Bowl off. Okay.
Yes.
We're going to let y'all have time with your families. But we're coming back February 18th. February 18th, we're coming back. And if you don't have this book, listen, I started rereading it again. Okay. And I went in and changed two things in my manuscript because I noticed the alignment was off. And I was like, I hate when that happens. But order it now. Okay. You're going to get the updated manuscript. But Girl Hurt No More, Healing Waters. Listen, this is only the beginning. We just did intro and we did chapter 1. Next time, y'all, Shayla kind of alluded to this, so I'm going to just go ahead and tell the people. We talking about complacency.
Let's get into it. Come back.
Complacency. So
right.
Y'all we on page 55 now. So y'all need to start reading and catch up because we're gonna jump into this thing. And I'm telling you, it's going to be good. So, ladies, get your comments ready, get your questions ready, because we're gonna be lit. February 18th, 7 p.m.
That's my daddy's birthday too, so we're gonna be really.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. So I appreciate you all, ladies. I just love all of y'all. The minute I reached out to you, you immediately said yes. And I just am so grateful. So grateful. And ladies in the chat, y'all rock. I love y'all.
Did we hit all the questions? Did we hit all of the questions in the chat?
Yes. Yes.
Comments.
Man,
y'all weren't playing.
They were not playing. So we love you all so much. Please join us again. And y'all better get these tickets for Girl Hurt No More, Healing Waters, March 21st through the 23rd. It is only $35. I promise it is going to be the best investment you have done for yourself in 2024. Let me just tell you, we're about to close. Last year's conference was the first one. The Lord changed me so much in that conference. I told people, God, I'm different now. I left that conference different, and I told everybody August 10th, I resigned and started my own company. So I'm telling you, y'all, this year, God is about to do something amazing. Y'all want to be in the building. All right. So we will see you all February 18th. Ladies, wait for me in the waiting room. I love everyone. Thank y'all. Have a good night, and we'll talk to you soon.